Hi, I'm Ben Turpin and welcome to Whip Finish Industries, the final step in your fly fishing experience. Today we're going to review with you a fly that you really need to have in your box in September. It's the Pheasant Tail Wonderbug. The Wonderbug was created by Ben Rinker, but I've adjusted it a little bit to perfectly imitate the slate drake that will be hatching in September. As always, each month we will review with you the flies you need to have in your box, how to fish them, and how to tie them. Unlike any other site, you can click below and purchase the exact products I am using, or simply click and purchase the fly. This Pheasant Tail Wonderbug is a good general pattern. It works in the spring for Hendricksons as well, but in the summertime, we're going to tie it in a size 12 on a Tiemco 2488 hook. Okay, so this is a curved shank hook. It's an emerger hook. You can scroll down below, find the correct hook for tying this fly. All right. This curved shank allows the fly to hang down in the water. It lets the shuck hang below the surface, looks more like a natural. What I've done is I've wound my thread on. I started up by the eye, work my way to the bend of the hook, and actually work your way down the bend, because you want this fly to be curved. You don't see too many straight flies in nature. Almost everything has a nice curve to it. So we're going to use some Antron yarn for the trailing shuck. The dark brown is going to be the color. Again, we're working on making sure that you have the right colors. Look down, scroll down on the screen, and you'll be able to find the exact shade of dark brown that I'm using to get the fly to look like what you need. All right? We're going to take this yarn that we've cut and we're going to just thin it out a little bit. You don't want to have that big thick chunk of yarn. You want to thin it so it gives the shuck a thinner profile. We're going to secure it to the bend of the hook. Just take 5 or 6 turns of thread, and as you can see, mine's a little on the long side here. I'm just going to trim it a little bit, shorten it up, trim off my excess. All right, and I'm just going to wrap her over those butt ends and make a smooth transition right there. All right, so we're just going to use some natural pheasant tail. You can find that, again, scroll down, you can click on, get exactly what you need. We're going to clip off probably 8 fibers. Doesn't have to be an exact number of fibers. This is not an exact science. We're lashing feathers to a hook to fool a fish. But we do want to have the correct materials to make things look the way they should. So I'm going to tie that in by the tips, by the natural ends. And make sure you get all the way back to where the shuck is on the bend of the hook. Okay? If you have any excess hanging out there, you can trim that off. We're going to move our thread back up towards the eye of the hook. And we're going to stop about an eye, maybe 2 eye widths back from the eye. Now we're going to take our pheasant tail and we're going to wrap it up the hook shank. And this is going to form a nice dark thin body, just like you'll see on those slate drakes or Isonychia bicolors. All right. We're going to take a few turns over top of the pheasant tail and secure it. All right. The next material that we're going to need is going to be some CDC. One of my favorite colors is Caddis Dun. It's a nice dun kind of earthy brown color mixed to it. This really is a natural color. I like it a lot. Again, you can scroll down below and get the exact color that I'm using, and your flies will look just like what I'm using. So when we tie in the CDC, we're going to use 2 CDC feathers, just the tips, and we're going to extend them so they come right to the end of the body. We're going to take 3 or 4 turns over it, make sure it's nice and secure to the shank, and we're going to trim off the excess. All right. We're going to use some Comparadon deer hair, and different types of deer hair perform differently. If it's a coarse hair, it's going to flare a lot. If it's a fine hair, it's not going to flare at all. So Comparadon hair has been selected because it is a fine hair that has a little bit of flare to it, and it gives you the correct shaped wing. So you can scroll below, you can find the hair. Click on it if you need it. If you have it at home, that's fine as well. We just want to make sure you're using the right flies or the right material. All right, so I cut off about a wooden matchstick thick section of deer hair. I'm going to drop it into my hair stacker with the fine points down. Give a couple taps on the table there, and that gives you a nice even wing. Okay, you can see that. We're going to take that wing and we're going to tie it in so the tips of the wings, or the tip of the deer hair, is even with the tip of the CDC. That way everything has the same profile on the fly. I like to take my hair once I get it gauged to the right length, and I like to trim it ahead of time. That way when I tie it in, I don't have a big mess of hair to deal with. I'm going to wrap over it. I'm going to slide it back a little bit. You can see I made that little adjustment. Sometimes you need to adjust things as you're tying them in. I'm going to wrap through the deer hair, and you can see I'm crisscrossing my thread a little bit. That makes sure it's all locked in. Now, that's a pretty beefy wing, but the fly itself is going to hang down in the water. So as it's hanging down in the water, you're going to be able to see the wing on top, and that means you're going to be able to see the fly. I'm just going to take my thread and move it to the front of the deer hair, right behind the eye. Build a little head and whip finish the fly. And put 2 whip finishes on there just to make sure it doesn't come apart. All right. And there you have it. That's the pheasant tail wonder bug. And this represents the Isonychia bicolor, or the slate drakes that you're going to be seeing throughout the summer. This is part of our summertime selection. Remember, if you join Whip Finish Industries, you'll be able to click in into the membership, and you're going to be able to click in and see all the patterns that we recommend for summertime fishing. I've been guiding this area for a long, long time. I get to be on the water about 200 days a year, sometimes more, and this is one of my most productive patterns. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.